people want us to talk about this Kanye West shirt, "White Lives Matter." Um, what do you have to say about this?
You know, the whole black. I mean, are you familiar with Black Lives Matter, Mike? Like in terms of
Very
what's been going
familiar.
on with them.
Of course, I'm very familiar with that.
And so I really feel like this is almost like yay and satire and parody
He
of
made a
like,
statement about that. I think you
did
might
he?
have seen that. He
I'm glad he
said
did because that's really, and that's not to excuse behavior. I was literally
this
having a
is what he
conversation
said
with,
though. Just before you start, he said, "We all know the Black Lives Matter was a scam, so now it's gone. Now it's dead. Thank you," or something along those lines.
well, what he's talking about is the misappropriation of Black Lives Matter
Mm-hmm.
and how the funds have been pilfered and misappropriated by the people who helped bring the organization to national prominence. And he's pretty much saying, I believe with these shirts that you can't trust anybody or take anybody too seriously. But here's where I'm going to quibble back. It just reeks of people who have too much money thinking that they can get away with anything.
Yeah.
And he's been doing a lot lately. This is what I mean, where it's like, well, I don't want to be too critical of the brother because, you know, mental health is real. Being separated from your family and your children who you love dearly is real. You know what I mean? Like, you know, alcohol and addiction is real. Like, there's so many things that are probably in his peripherals and straight view that is very, very real and can, you know, emotionally, you know, pull at you certain ways. But with some things, you just gotta get a grip. Like, stop with the trash bags and the t-shirts that say "White Lives Matter." Just stop. And this is what I mean. See, this nigga don't have no A&R either. That was walking in here and be like, "Hey, that's not fashion, and this shit is stupid. Stop fucking shit up. Get your ass in the studio." A&R.
All right. I think anything that interrupts with a movement is unnecessary, right? Like I think that, like you said, him using the Black Lives Matter, I guess branding and shirts. Okay, let me rewind real quick. You're familiar with Tamir Rice, correct?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and Tamir Rice's mother made it very clear that she didn't appreciate, and this is before all the scandals with Black Lives Matter, she didn't appreciate that organization using, you know, her child's likeness for donations and to sell shirts, and the victims of this violence never got paid a dime for this stuff, right?
It's criminal.
It is. It is. And it's treasonous, it's everything. But I think far up the food chain, you know, the people who have funded that organization are white people. Um,
Yes.
and
That's
so,
why I was asking. That's why I was asking. Do you know what's really going on with them? As in,
yeah. So,
okay,
I mean, so if he's coming from a place where, and I'm not excusing any of it, because again, I think the fact that Candace O is sitting right there with them with the same shirt is problematic. That, you know, that kind of takes out any
I'm out.
validity, period, right? But
I'm
if
out.
he's coming from a place where it's like, okay, well, I am gonna sell these White Lives Matter shirts, and I'm giving the money that, you know, that Black Lives Matter should have given to these families, giving them to Tamara Rice's family, giving them to, you know what I'm saying, everybody who was used to build up this profit for this organization, this nonprofit organization, then someone could somewhat jive with that. But it just seems contrary and
Well,
trolling, for lack of a better term. And I think certain things are poor taste in trolling. And I think that the trolling part for me, again, is having Candace Owens right there with you with matching shirts. Because we all know
let's.
what Candace Owens represents. She's been very vocal about what she represents, what she's about, and who she caters to. So I think that if he were just doing this on a solo level, then maybe there would be some conversation. And I do think that Kanye West has done enough work and has given us a lot more content and substance than most if any hip hop artist on his level, so he does deserve to explain things. But if someone felt like because Candace Owens is right there and that does all the explanation for it, I can feel that too.
So, and I'm going to try to be very serious about what I say. When you're dealing with somebody who is exhibiting characteristics, Michael, being bipolar, you really don't know what emotionally psychological bag of tricks you're going to get from day to day. So everything that you're saying, both things could be true. It could be like, this could be the same guy that's on We Major that says, ask the Reverend, was the strip club cool? If my tips help send a pretty girl through school. You know,
Yeah.
like this is like that's so he's known to have this contrary train of thought. It's like, well, no, you can look at it like it's bad, but if this money that I'm using for something that you deem as bad actually goes towards helping somebody good, isn't that good at the end of the day? Because the word would tell you that you'll be forgiven for that at the end, you know? And so he poses those type of questions about life with some of his behavior, okay? And so that part of it can exist. But the mental health bipolar side of it and this nigga having a bad day can exist too, Mike. You feel what I'm saying? And a bad day with your mental health can lead to negative emotions and bad ideas. And when you have the type of wealth and therefore resources that he has, oh, you can make a lot of shit happen real fast that literally could be classified as psychologically like unbalanced or crazy. And this is where we are with Kanye, because it could possibly be both of those things in all honesty.
I want to take it to a different degree though. And I think that
Go ahead.
what is interesting about, this scenario, you get many of the I like to call them the blue check Twitter people with a whole bunch to say. But when all this Black Lives Matter stuff was going on and Tamir Rice's mother was saying what she was trying to say and getting her voice heard, motherfuckers was silent. And I find that very interesting. That Kanye puts on a shirt and everybody got all these big stanzas and all this stuff that they got to say about it. But you have an organization that, some of these blue check people are affiliated with. They weren't doing right by the families who lost loved ones to the hands of police, and you're not saying anything. I just don't. I wouldn't feel comfortable with myself when knowing that a man put on a shirt and I got all these emotions and things to say, which rightfully so. But when something else fucked up happened that you're clearly aware of, you said nothing. I just find that interesting.
Leroy Green is like, bipolar doesn't excuse behavior. Like, no, but what I'm speaking to is that when you take somebody that has a real emotional, psychological condition, and then you place that person under duress. Oh, I don't know, a nationally publicized divorce and separation from your children. You feel what I'm saying? Like, like that one thing alone is enough to make the tick go tick, tick, boom. Like, that's it. Like, that's all it takes. That's why I tell people, it's like, no, mental health is real. Like, and in all honesty, when you're dealing with an artist, it could be some personality dissociative disorder, because you're literally living a life where you're creating a persona, Ye, Yeezy, Kanye West. You feel what I'm saying? No, these things play on the mind for real. People don't understand. Somebody who might already have mental health issues, might be dealing with some schizophrenia, some personality, some bipolar, a divorce, not getting to see his goddamn kids away. Like, I mean, Mike, you can be totally in your well mental health frame of mind and be separated from your wife and kids, and that's enough to go make you do some crazy shit.
Blue Collar Hustle says, can we stop with the mental health excuse for Kanye?
No, it's not an excuse. It's a reality. I'm not making excuses for the behavior. I'm telling you what you're dealing with. There's a difference between explaining to people what you're dealing with than making excuses. Like, I'm telling you what I see going on, not making excuses for it.
Let me finish super chat. He said the man is literally hiding behind mental health in order to get away with his wacky, ish. I mean, I don't think that we are at liberty to make those statements. I mean, I don't know if you're a doctor or MD or have
But
checked him out or anything, you
but
know.
I told you, but hold on. See, Blue Collar Hustle's not listening though, Mike, because when I started this diatribe, I started by saying somebody needs to grab his ass and tell him to stop this shit. Like I literally said, stop the trash bags, stop the t-shirts, A&R. I literally said that. So Blue Collar Hustle needs to listen to the totality of the statements. Like I appreciate the super chat, but I was very clear that I started this off by saying, nigga, stop.
Yeah, yeah, and I said that I don't agree with any of this, and somebody in the chat
Like,
said that
stop.
I deal with whataboutisms. No, it's not a whataboutism. It's just an observation. You know, when you see somebody, I mean, Kanye is an easy target. Let's just be real. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of crazy stuff that go. If everybody want to be so pro-black when he jumps out the window and does something like this, but all this other stuff going around, I really feel a way about the fact that Tamara Rice's mother not only lost her child because he had a toy gun in the park, but now you got to deal with motherfuckers out here raising money on your son, your dead son's behalf, and you can't even get in contact with them. Like, no,
Right.
I feel a way about that. You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
I, I
And
mean,
the
Mike,
fact
no, it's
that and the
somebody.
fact that blue check folks out there don't feel enough about that to even say anything, but this triggers you, is weird to me.
Exactly.
It's weird to me.
So Kanye's not the whole problem here, and also too, and to the Black Lives Matter thing. Oh no, I mean, Mike, I can't imagine how Tamir Rice's mother feels about that situation, Mike. I just know from being at the big first rally that they had down here and almost getting my ass arrested about the cause. When I found out about all the fraudulent and misgiving things within the framework of this structure and all the nefarious things and the people involved in what they have been doing, I was sick to my stomach as somebody that actively participated and protested under that realm. And I'm really glad that I didn't do anything like sign up for any of those newsletters and all that, because really it turned out to be just, I think, a way to keep tabs on black folks in the area.
Facts.
All it really was hold on, to quote Freddie Gibbs on Soul Sold Separately, crack Instagram and AIDS, it was straight CIA what Black Lives Matter was really doing. And so I'm glad I went to the rally, like to support and show cause, but the unfolding of it and the unfounding of it and what it really means and represents, oh, that ain't nothing but another knock list for the FBI to come knock on your door, take some more niggas out who matter.
The L Web 100 says we all go through our mental problems. There's still no excuse to coon out, though. Again, I would love to hear what he has to say about it, but again, I don't agree with it. I think that having Candace Owens there just is so problematic in the fact that whatever his quote unquote intentions were, they're gonna be null and void being associated right there. I mean, let's just be real. It was clout chasing. It brought attention to his fashion show, whatever he had going on, and it was ill advised, and it was in poor taste. It was in poor taste in the same way that, when he said, slavery was a choice, or, those statements.
I mean, this is what I mean when I mean he doesn't care when you have a certain amount of wealth and resources. Think about how he's talking to my beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy. It's not funny anymore. Try different jokes. What'd he say? Tell him, hug and kiss my ass. X and O. Know who you're dealing with. Know who you're dealing with.
Blue Collar Hustle
so that's what I'm
said,
saying. I'm not trying to capitulate to the mental health. It's like, no, but I see who he is based on what he says and what I'm dealing with.
Blue Collar Hustle said the last chat wasn't aimed at Coop, but all of us who continue to give Ye a pass for saying whatever he wants and nobody checks him. Now, I do get that was the fact that there does have to be some level of accountability, when it comes to, what you're saying.
Something?
There's a cause and effect for whatever you say and do. You know what I mean?
Yes. Can I say something in the rap realm of it?
Mm-hmm.
There have been times where I have wondered, because on a rap level, Mike, it appears to me the past 10 years, the only guy that's been around him consistently is Pusha T. And not saying this is somebody obviously big fan of his, but just like on some real nigga shit. It's like, you ain't said nothing to fam. It's like, I don't know if it's happened or not. He just doesn't strike me as the type of dude that would just be okay with the shits. You know what I'm saying?
I think this is the thing. I think that people have probably said something, but let's just be real. Kanye has made it to who he is by not listening to people. That's the thing. Everything
Right.
I'm
And
not made me everything I am.
as
If
people,
he
are
would
the
have
people
listened to
around Ye
people,
looking at it like
yeah. If
there's
if
no
he would have
point even
listened to
talking to
people,
him?
if he would have listened to people, he never would have been a rapper in the first
But
place.
no, what I'm
Like,
saying is that is that making the people around him, and I don't want to say like bow or kowtow, but just kind of be like, well, there's no point because he's
yeah,
not going to listen. Well, here's what I would submit to you. There needs to be somebody in the room with something that's close enough to as strong as personality as him that will be like, no, nigga, fuck that shit and fuck what you talking. Like straight up, like to his face. That like will say it to him like that too. Like, no, nigga, that's corny shit. Like, what the fuck is that?
I think
Like straight
everybody
up,
has
like because you got to
somebody.
talk to somebody. Like I'm not even talking about his wealth or his arrogance. You got to talk to somebody that's strong in their mind, like on some straight up fundamental common sense level. Be like, that is some corny ass shit right there. You know that, right? Like straight up like that. Like you got to talk to the nigga like damn near like he's stupid for having the idea to get through.
I
Like
think
is
every.
anybody talking to him that way? Or are they just like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea? Or somebody like, nigga, that's clown shit. You know that, right?
I think everybody has a person that they listen to, and and again, I
That
don't know.
person is gone for him, Mike, and we know that.
I mean, again, I was gonna say I don't know him, but just observing that documentary or whatnot, it appears that yeah, that was the one person that he would listen to no matter what.
And
Or
it's been
even if
all,
he,
it's,
but
and
he even went against her because he would have went to college or he would have stayed in college or whatever. But she supported that, and I think that everybody has that person that they can actually talk to,
but
and
he built his whole brand off of that too to show her the
mm-hmm,
college dropout.
yeah.
Yeah,
Jay Short with the super chat says Kanye is gonna end up like Britney and lose his music.
no,
I
it won't
don't.
be.
I don't think he's at that point. But I do think that I will say this, and I know we don't get into the gossip or anything, but I think if he would have stayed in that marriage in that way, that case could have possibly been made, and some of that stuff could have been handed over to more of a quote unquote sound mind in his spouse. That could have happened
I think that was
legally.
probably happening behind the scenes. Some
I think he was saying something along those lines.
probably.